Can you tell us about Shepherd, because it's still fairly new? I know there are a lot of people who don't know that app yet.
Totally.
What is it for you, or what is it about?
It's about connecting with people. So the common line is it's the business app of Tinder. So it's all about professional relationships, whether it's finding new creative people to work with, or freelance projects, or businesses, jobs. And I like it because you can get a great summary of a person. I mean, you won't get everything. You have to meet the person to really get the essence of someone. But just by having a quick look at their profile, you can very quickly know, okay, is this person that wants to be transparent, what kind of style they are, or how hesitant they are. Because I mean, I've noticed quite a few people don't like putting their information on there. They're afraid of it. And the ones that do are the ones that I connect with, that actually want to share themselves.
And so what do you do to create that sense of belonging to a team with your subcontractors?
One way I do it is, I mentioned it earlier, involving them in the creative process. Because especially from the research that I've done, and bigger companies are moving to this, but it's not widely accepted yet. I'm not sure why, or it's of course going to grow, but it's involving people in the creative process in a way that they feel like they're participating, and you give them more control of what's going on than just saying, okay, this is what's going to happen and this is what you got to do. Because that's the old way of doing it. People, especially my generation, the millennials, they're, for whatever reason, so particular about this, and it's shifting the industry.
That's a very good point, because there are more and more people, most probably because they come from a different generation, but they want more flexibility, they want more entrepreneurship in whatever they do, they want to be involved, they want more coaching, etc., etc. Is it what you do with your team, and do you feel that companies will actually have to align with a model similar to yours? Or
well, I know every business is going to be unique. So for me, I liked blending the old school and the new school approach, because I mean, ultimately I would like to have them as my team and as employees, to give them that sense of security, because I know that is something that's still valuable. Because people, when they feel safe in an environment, they're much more likely to give more of themselves. And so that's what I wanted to provide with my team. And I'm trying to do whatever I can. So it's still in its infancy, but it'll grow and I'll learn as I continue. And I'm sure I'm going to make mistakes too.
That's part of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you see the work world evolve? Let's say we are in 2050. What would be different with today?
I think the community, like you're a part of the digital nomads, and I know some people in the audience are as well. That's going to become a stronger movement and far more acceptable, because I know right now it's pretty much pushed to the reaches of Facebook or other things, and it's not accepted on other platforms like LinkedIn, maybe somewhat, or even in businesses. I'm even noticing, talking to different agencies and connecting with them, that they are doing something similar, where they do the subcontracting approach and they allow that nomad mentality to be a part of their culture. And I could see that being taken even further.
If you could do anything you want to change something in the work world, what would it be?
I would love to create a business, I mean, using Simply Creative as a vehicle to grow it to the point where I help other people find ways of creating that freedom for themselves, whatever it means. Like, I love using my mom as an example, but for her, she's the biggest source of inspiration in my life, and she's basically quit any job. She divorced my dad for her own personal reasons. And she's writing a book about her journey through cancer and how she overcame that, because the doctors told her that she was going to die. And she's like, no way, I'm going to do this. And now she's creating her own workshops and growing this idea that has a huge potential. And she at no point has ever given up.
I think you came here tonight because you also wanted to show people that everyone has something to impact their own worlds.
Totally.
Can you tell me more about that, and how do you know how you can impact your world? Because again, that's such a big question, you know.
Oh yeah.
Go for it and go impact your world. Okay, but how?
Yeah. So how I figured this out for myself is I did a lot of introspection, and it came through the fact I discovered there was something in me, and I believe that it's in a lot of people, especially when they really listen to themselves, is we all want to help each other, and we all want this sense of belonging. Even if we're doing our own projects or creating something innovative, we still want to be a part of something. So how I came up with the idea is, what is it that connects us? And dating back to the earliest records of human civilization, we've always created stories. Whether we painted them on the walls or whether it was word of mouth, we've always had stories as a forms of communication as early as we know. I mean, we probably had other ways of communicating before that, but when we discovered it, it was through stories.
Okay. And so right now your business is taking a different direction with those people, with the team that you have created. But you started on your own. How did you know that it was time for you to grow your business? What happened?
For me, most of my realizations have come through some form of hardship, and moving to Montreal hasn't been an easy adventure. But I came to a point where I realized I can't do everything in my business anymore. And in order for me to grow and be able to reach bigger clients and do bigger jobs, I needed to get more people involved. And that's really where I had the aha moment. I was like, okay, it's time to do this. And it was always sitting in the back of my head, because that was ultimately what I wanted to do, was grow beyond myself. But because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, I was always afraid to invite other people into it, because it's kind of like my baby.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and so what did you learn from that?
That it's actually easier to trust people than you might think. Once I started inviting people into it, seeing their excitement just kind of shifted everything for me.
Yeah.
Especially when I was telling them, like, yeah, I want to share other people's stories. That's amazing. It just makes so much sense. Like, how do I want to, or how can I be a part of this? And just seeing the eagerness for people to be involved in it was astounding.
And what are you working on right now?
Right now, my goal is to reach bigger clients. So essentially, I want to find a client that will help me make an impact on my business and also theirs, and even the world around us, because I love hearing about those stories, and I'd love to be a part of other people's stories.
I'd love to come back as well when you were saying that you learn things, from the hard way. Last time when we talked again, you said that there are a lot of entrepreneurs that actually neglect themselves.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that, and how could you actually prevent that?
I think there's two common ways that entrepreneurs neglect themselves. They neglect the inside and they neglect the outside. So the inside is themselves, where they're just constantly working on other things. And I have friends that make this mistake all the time. And of course I'm like, dude, you gotta take some time off. Like, just slow down. I know it's important, but you also have to take time for yourself. And then the outside is being willing to let go of the things and putting it out to the world. Because when you put it out to other people, yes, you're losing control, but at the same time, you allow it to grow in a way that you could never imagine. And I'm starting to do that with my business, and it's already getting its own momentum. So It's amazing.
What are the different ways of working that actually inspire you? Because you've created your own model that aligns with who you are and how you function, but I'm sure you witness as well different entrepreneurs, different companies, different people. They do things differently from you. What do you think is maybe interesting to share tonight, or something that you would like to apply and use in the future?
What I would like to apply more is connecting people, especially with my team. It's since it's so new. What I want to do is have it so we can meet all in one place while still being in different parts of the world. And already some of the people that are on my team are going and spending 6 months in Europe or going somewhere else, and I've totally accepted that. I said, okay, we can do this. If you want to be a part of this, we'll have to be able to work through traveling and everything, so we've got to find a solution for that. And if you're willing to work on it, then I am too.
When I was traveling in Thailand at the beginning of the year, I've met a lady who's an entrepreneur and digital nomad, and she started an online co-working space. So it's only for women, but I'm sure it does exist for men as well, or maybe she should create it as well. And it's basically for all those entrepreneurs that have to work on their own, and sometimes it's just difficult to remain accountable with yourself. And they do meet on that online platform where they share their challenges, they decide what they're going to work on for the day, and then they would meet again by the end of the day and check what they have done, what they're proud of, what they'd like to celebrate, and those things could be really nice, for a team where, okay, we are all in different parts of the world, but let's meet online. There is a platform that has been created specifically to support people who are working on their own, and that's dope, and let's create connections. And then wherever you are, you always come back to that platform, and it's always the same people, and you can create real connections as well.
Absolutely.
Great, fascinating.
Agreed.
Great. I have one question that I like asking. If you had the chance to give an advice to your maybe first manager, what would you say to him or her?
That's a good question. I would say thank you, because early on, my first manager, being 13 years old, they did not expect anything from me. And early on, they noticed that I was really excited to be part of the company. I was a produce clerk at the age of 13, and I was the only person that was under 16 in the whole company. And this was IGA, a grocery store. And at first, they were like, "What are you doing here?" And very quickly, they said, "You know what? You're a cool kid." And they started giving me more things to do and testing me out, and they just showed me the ropes and actually had faith in me, which was amazing.
Super important. Yeah. Is there one question that I have not asked you and that you would like that I should have asked you?
Not that I can think of now.
Anything else to add?
No.
Okay, well, I really would like to thank you for being here tonight. I really admire your determination. I think it's very courageous just to try things out, not taking a no for an answer, and experiment, and that's it. And I think life is about that.
Yeah.
But it does require courage, and I'm really pleased to see you in a place where you look very fulfilled. And I can hear as well that there is no way you're gonna go back to the 9 to 5 thing, being employed, if I don't know, life again happens. But I'm sure you'll be able to bounce back and maybe open another business or adjust. And I know you carry that within yourself. And
actually,
yeah.
sorry. that's one thing that is very powerful in creating businesses is being able to change and adapt and not closing yourself up to opportunities, because sometimes it might feel like a step back, but that's also where amazing things can happen.
But I do believe it starts with, you talked about introspection, and I think it really starts with knowing yourself, because if you don't know who you are well enough, it's going to be much harder to make the right decisions and to adjust and all of that. So.